you go into the Aztec Empire or Cancun or one of those great pyramids, and you say, oh, they have these inscriptions in Hebrew, or they got these stones in Hebrew. Okay, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, you can speculate as to what that comes from, but it's nothing definitive. There's no telling. And first of all, you won't even find like hard hieroglyphic evidence of Hebrew anywhere in Central or South America.
Yeah, well, my grandma would say, let's get down to the nitty gritty, right? To this part, who certain people are, right? So, you broke down certain parts of the people in Puerto Rico, right? So, let's go with so-called people in Mexico who saying they Israel or saying they Issachar, and then I'm gonna land me back on some things. Any one of them of your choosing.
Okay, so
89 tribes. You got 9 to choose from.
Well, here's the problem I have. For you to assert that Issachar is the Mexicans is to assert that the Spanish and whoever else was involved with the slave trade came to terms with each other and said, I'm only going to take this tribe and you only take that tribe, and we're going to keep them in their neat little compartments and we're not going to intermix them. I mean, come on, man. That Gentile didn't do that.
Right. Let's take Issachar and screw all the Issachar in Mexico. Let's take Zebulon and let's screw that tribe and place them over here, right?
Right.
Yeah, you go ahead.
What is more likely is that one of us, somebody from One West or somebody from another camp, somebody made those neat little compartments because it was profound in that moment, or it was about building the numbers or building his rapport with his people. And it was one of those little hooks that everybody got snagged on, and we all went with it and took off running.
Shalom, like give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash, like double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all you sincere arguing pushing this wire across the 4 corners of the earth. This is a response video of Apostle Tohar video that he did about this guy named Qanath from an Israelite camp named FOPE. And one thing about that guy Qanath, he's definitely not spiritual. For him to say that the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel only consists of you so-called Negroes is going against the ways of Yahweh Bashem Shah. And one thing that Yahweh Shah pushed on this earth was to be spiritually minded and to be thinking about heavenly things. So this is Romans, the 8th chapter and the 3rd verse. For what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh, Yahweh sent his own son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin condemned sin in the flesh, that the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us who walk not after the flesh, but after the spirit. The only ones that's going to walk after the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Shah are the elect of the nation of Israel. The 2/3 of the nation of Israel, they're going to walk after the flesh because they are subscribing to the ways of this so-called white man who are the biblical Edomites. So they are just like their father, the devil, by doing the ways and thinking the ways of Esau. And one of his main ways is to think is to be carnally minded, which is death. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh. And that's a great example of that guy, Qanath. For him to say that the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel only consists of so-called Negroes only. So Yahweh Bashem Shai, he's a master of diversities. So for example, in the cat world, you have different species of the cats. You have the lions, you have the tigers, you have the leopards, you have the cheetahs, you have the sphinx, you have the snow leopards, you have the mountain lions, you have the jaguars, and so forth and so on. So Yahweh Bashem Shah can be diverse in making different species of the cats, but when it comes to his chosen people out of all nations on this planet Earth, he's just going to leave them as so-called Negroes, and not other flavors, shapes, sizes, and colors as far as the so-called Native Americans, Latinos, and Hispanics. That don't make sense, man. The so-called Native Americans, Latinos, Hispanics do consist of part of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And the Spirit bear witness that they do. That's why it's much historical findings and documents of Northern Kingdom tribes of them speaking the Hebrew by keeping the customs of the ancient Hebrews, or by them saying the name of the Most High in ancient Hebrew. And it's so crazy about it, it's pretty much more information on the Northern Kingdom tribes you can find out there more than the Southern Kingdom tribes. That's how the Spirit bear witness that they are a part of us. That's why you see stones in New Mexico and Puerto Rico of ancient writers written in the Hebrew language. You have an old movie of a so-called Native American saying the name of Yahweh in his true Hebrew form.
Qanath, I greet you.
It's good to be here, John.
I've heard that a dark cloud has fallen on the white path you were walking. It is good that you have turned your thoughts to the Cherokee. It was caused by Yahweh. We are in trouble, Raven, and Yahweh has sent you to give us counsel. My house is yours. My people are yours. Come, rest with us.
So that's why guys like Qanath, he goes after the things of the flesh because he's a carnally minded person. But they are after the spirit, the things of the spirit. And that's the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. Verse 6, for to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. So Qanath's so-called followers want to follow him and that mad doctrine that he's spewing out. They're going to meet with the fate of death if they don't repent, because they're going way off, because you taking away from the words of Yahweh Bashar Shai. You're lying on the scriptures. Then you being prideful at that, as like you've been doing the work for a long time. You ain't been doing nothing. You stopped. So you're supposed to be even more humble and plead to Yahweh Bashar Shai to put the spirit upon you to continue to stay in the right spirit and teach his word in the right way. So this is an example of Yahweh Shai speaking to Nicodemus, who is known as a doctor of the law. This is John, the 3rd chapter, the 9th verse. Nicodemus answered and said unto him, how can these things be? Yahweh Shai answered and said unto him, art thou a master of Israel and knowest not these things? So Yahweh Shai is picking Nicodemus' brain. He's messing with him. Verily, verily, I say unto thee, we speak that we do know, and testify that we have seen, and ye receive not our witness. So through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashar Shai, starting with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and the sincere Akim on down, we speak the things that we do know. And that's why we can bring out through the scriptures, and we can spiritually navigate through the scriptures of how the so-called Native Americans, Latinos, and Hispanics are associated right along with the so-called Negroes by being part of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. It's that plain and simple through the spirit. If I have told you earthly things and you believe not, how should you believe if I tell you of heavenly things? So like earthly things, we can physically show you an example of a so-called Native American saying the name of Yahweh, and you can't understand something like that. How can you understand spiritual things of saying the so-called Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, they're going to be right along with us in the kingdom of heaven? You can't understand heavenly things like that because you right now in that one-dimensional mind thinking all so-called Negroes are part of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. But what about the ones of those so-called looking Negroes? Their forefathers could be Edomites or even other nations, but they have the features of a so-called Negro. So are those children Israelites? No, you go by what your father is. And I can put my money on, I bet that guy Qanath He was probably one of them followers of Herod, because Herod had features like a so-called Negro due to his mother being a so-called Negro, but his father went back to Esau. So you probably had Qanath back in those time frames believing that Herod was an Israelite. You know, to show you that these guys are not spiritual. You're not spiritually minded. For you to say things like that, you definitely are not spiritually minded. And Yahweh Shai, he's not dealing with people that are carnally minded. This is 1 Timothy, the 5th chapter, and the 13th verse. And withal they learn to be idle, wandering about from house to house, and not only idle, but tellers also in busy bodies. And through the Spirit, Apostle Tahar went through your videos, and he saw that you were being idle. You stopped teaching the work of Yahweh Shai. So through that process of time, you were being idle through the Spirit. But tellers also in busy bodies, speaking things which they ought not. So for you to say that 12 tribes of the nation of Israel only consists of the so-called Negroes, you are speaking things which you ought not. And Yahweh Shai, he's going to stop you from doing that. And this is Jeremiah, the 6th chapter, and the 30th verse. Reprobate silver should men call them. And the word reprobate goes back to void of judgment, because Yahweh Shai had rejected them. And he definitely had rejected Qanath for him to be speaking things like that, man. Because those things are not spiritually minded, which brings life and peace. He's speaking carnal minded, which brings death. So the ones of Qanath's so-called followers, if you don't repent and get out of that madness, Yahweh Shai, he's going to destroy you as well. You know, because being carnally minded is death. There's no way out of that. You know, to be spiritually minded is life and peace. And through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai, Lord willing, he keep that spirit upon us, and we continually speak spiritually minded, which is life and peace, which ultimately is obtaining salvation and being in the kingdom of heaven. So with that, I hope y'all were edified. Like give all honor and glory again to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, that abundance again to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all you sincere brothers. Shalom.
Wait a minute. It's Titus, so it's hard to me. He said Issachar is Judah brother in scriptures, so Issachar is black. My brother Shashan from FOPE says, who was the slaves Columbus took on the ships back to Spain? Because through my research, it was black people, but I'll let you answer that. That's one part.
If you were to go to Spain right now, you would not find any Mexicans in Spain. All of the Mexicans are in Mexico and in the United States. There are no Mexicans in Spain unless they're there on vacation or something like that. You can't say there ain't one. There's probably one or two, but it's nobody else.